PushGapRadio.com, Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth.
What is your message to the sporting industry about why women deserve to make just as much as men do?
Just wake up and realize that without women, where are we at?
I'm really tired of seeing them complain about the lack of pay because they're doing themselves a disservice by just complaining.
They're not just complaining, really.
But they are, because they're not laying out steps that they can take to change that. Because the people that can change it, they're just going to continue to say, well, the revenue isn't there. So if you don't bring in the revenue, we can't up your pay.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
The WNBA players think they are entitled to a little more cash.
Show me the money! Dude, look at the WNBA. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for a quarter of a century.
What's up, everyone?
Cover is how feminists complain about male athletes being paid more than female athletes, but ignore when female models get paid more than male models.
Yeah.
The next point is about how feminists will complain about traditionalism and traditional gender roles, yet they want you to pay for dates. And this is a pretty mainstream feminist position. Right?
Well, they can and they are. And we've been following that structure for the past 60, 70 years.
Same concept as all my previous points. By doing that, you are on average pushing for female supremacy.
Let's see what he is talking about.
Well, the delusional ass WNBA players
Delusional they are.
union met for about 3 hours Monday, February 2nd for a little in-person bargaining sesh. And as a follow-up, the league did get them a new proposed CBA 2 days ago, as we are now all of a sudden about 100 days out from the scheduled start of their season.
Well, the players want 30% of gross revenue, and the league's giving them 70% of net revenue. The players want a $10 million salary cap. The league is giving them a $5 million salary cap. The players want 2.5 maximum salary contracts. The owners are giving them 1.3 max salary contracts. It's just never good enough for these players.
Exactly how the fall of man occurred in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Adam said one day, wow, Eve, here we are at one with nature, at one with God. We'll never age, we'll never die. And all our dreams come true the instant that we have them. And Eve said, yeah, it's just not enough, is it?
No, that's not funny.
I was just waiting for more.
So that was kind of his point.
My contention is that feminists, at least third and fourth wave feminism, modern feminism, it's a sleight of hand tactic where they point to first and second wave feminism and say, hey, see, we were victims at that time. And they point to the past, but in the present, they are now in the advantageous position. They have more privilege.
Which will likely be great news for the league, so they stop hemorrhaging money on this putrid product. The league, historically, has lost around $40 to $50 million a year and has relied heavily on subsidies from the NBA to stop it from shuttering years ago. But now,
40 to 50.
And the pendulum has swung too far. And they seem to be okay with that because they sort of view it as an intergenerational revenge for the past. But that's not really a fair way to look at it. And honestly, it's causing a lot of bigger issues.
It's true. It's true. Start being likable. Start working on your game. Start practicing. Start making fundamental plays. Start making layups. Every time a microphone is shoved in front of you, stop sounding foolish. Stop being an antagonist. Stop. Start being a good person.
PushGapRadio.com in Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome back to another edition of Rubber Buggy Baby Boomer Radio on the bangingest thing on your urban internet radio dial. I trust each and every one of you. I trust that each and every one of you had an amazing Valentine's Day weekend. A lot of bullshit to me. Way to get extra gifts that you didn't get. during the holidays, all right? We get ready to delve into feminism and the WNBA, mind. But first, real quick, gotta throw this in here. Dallas-Fort Worth, who's your favorite local comedian? Mine is Anastasia LeBeau. Been following her for 20 years. Funny mind. She's from Dallas, McAllen, Texas. Motivational speaker and has a high energy style. Very funny. She does corporate events, church events. So if you want it clean, she does that. And Anastasia, funny mind. Just truly phenomenal. Who's your favorite comedian? Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Let's help them get out there, man. I like going to comedy shows and whatnot. And so, somebody else might like to see your person too. The feminism thing, normally don't get into that around here, but a buddy of mine, we had been having a conversation about women talking about they own more homes than black men. Let me tell you something that you chicks don't understand. See, the old heads told us this. The old men told us this in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. A man buys a house when he has a wife or he has a family. Y'all running around here flexing because you took on damn debt. And then I saw the Poor Man's podcast here with the guy Tyler we're about to break down for you. Very smart guy. He breaks things down pertaining to the gender wars by using science, mind. But yeah, buying a house ain't a flex. What did you get, an adjustable rate mortgage? Balloon payment? Property taxes kicking your ass? What about insurance? That go up? Now you're in there by yourself and ain't got nobody to help. I bet you'll go 50-50 now, huh? But in this video, Tyler here investigates 5 different data points dealing with modern feminism and uncovers the ideological inconsistencies by using math and logic. The Lit Nomad is the name of his YouTube channel. Very deep guy. The Lit Nomad podcast is the name of his YouTube channel. He's a retired hedge fund quant and Ivy League alum. Remember the word quant. We're coming back to it. And he says he proposes a logical solution for us moving forward to restore gender relationships. Yeah, this gender war thing's off the chain. Thank you, Oprah Winfrey. So what is a quant? A quant is a quantitative analysis. It's a specialist in the financial industry who uses advanced mathematical, statistical, and programming techniques to develop trading strategies, price derivatives, and to manage risk. This dude broke it down on human nature. La da 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 da. Why? Yeah. So we're about to jump into the Lit Nomad podcast along with the Poor Man's podcast. One thing they're going to explain to you ladies that you don't understand. The key that can open any lock is a master key. The lock that any key can open is a shitty lock. Now without further ado, here's the Lit Nomad podcast. He say he dealing with Hoe Math. Slut shaming versus virgin shaming. Why men can do it, ladies, and you can't. Roll tape.
Out of Pepe.
And I got a new one, Bobby. The Winky Dinky Hoe Cake. Hoe Cake. Hoe Cake. Hoes got to eat too, right?
Right, you're right.
That's right. Hoes got to eat.
Hi there. I'm a retired Wall Street quantitative researcher.
Oh,
in
dang.
this video, I'm going to prove using math and logic that feminism is not only illogical, but is in fact the female supremacy movement.
Well, of course, it's kind of baked into the name feminism, right? It's like part of the name.
I'm going to step through 5 separate data points in order to elucidate my argument.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So the first point I'll make is about slut shaming. I'll start out with these 2 graphs, men and women. Y-axis is respect, X-axis is promiscuity. This says whore. My handwriting is bad.
You can tell he ain't sparing nobody.
So you can see from men, the level of respect goes up as they get more bodies. When they get up here, they become a stud or a playboy. Whereas for a woman, it starts at the top, the Virgin Mary, and then it goes down as they get bodies. And then down here, they're a whore. You know that this is intrinsically the worst insult for a woman, because even when women, feminist women, get into fights with each other, the strongest insult they can think of, they go with whore.
Yeah.
Say, shut up, you whore.
Yeah.
They don't say, shut up, you virgin. because that wouldn't really hit. You know, she'd be like Virgin Mary.
Well, the elephant in the room is the fact that the reason there are different social consequences for women being promiscuous is because there are different biological consequences for women being promiscuous. Like, obviously, women can get pregnant, and you got to think, historically speaking, in a time where if you got a cut, you just had to find a hole to die in, giving birth was a very dangerous process, right? So cross-culturally, all over the world, women were shamed out of promiscuity because it could lead to pregnancy, which was ultimately dangerous. So the reason that there are different social consequences is because there are different biological consequences. So you could try to get rid of the social consequences by normalizing it, but you can never really get rid of the biological consequences.
Wouldn't really hit. You know, she'd be like Virgin Mary. I don't understand. Why is that an insult? But with a man, the strongest insult is to basically call him an incel, right? Involuntary celibate. Is to basically say, man, shut up, you pathetic incel. And that hurts for a man because he isn't able to get bodies. And so we know intrinsically that the shape of these graphs are true. This is based on supply and demand, and the supply and demand imbalance in the hookup market. See, a woman can have sex whenever she wants to, but a man needs to qualify for sex and jump through many hoops.
Right.
So because of this, a woman who puts out too often is judged as easy, while a man who gets sex often is seen as accomplished.
Yeah, well, yeah, a soccer player who scores 15 goals is seen as a good soccer player because that's hard to do, but a goalie who allows 15 goals is seen as a bad goalie because that's easy to do. And this is the part that nobody wants to say. Men dictate this side of the graph, so men get to decide what we value in women. That also means that women dictate this side of the graph, meaning they are the ones who get to decide what they value in men. And the reason why a lot of men's social credit isn't affected by being promiscuous is because women like men that other women like. And if a man is capable of sleeping with a bunch of women, at the very least, it shows that he's valuable amongst women. There are some women that like men just because other women like that man. And because that man is seen as valuable amongst women, they see it as more of a status symbol if they can get that man.
Evens out.
Yeah, it's biology versus sociology, man. Why men can and why you can't. Who baby that is? You remember Bernie Mac, rest in peace. But yeah, he covers 5 data points. Again, slut shaming versus virgin shaming, weight versus height, glass ceiling versus glass floor, selective traditionalism, and capitalism isn't sexism. That's what he said. It was very deep. I just wanted to bring it to you. Feminism and hoe culture. OnlyFans. That's what you got. But you still want respect. This guy is breaking down why you don't get it. And it's been like this for millennia. You know why? Because it works. The only one running around here yelling black women, black women, black women is black women. You don't hear the Asians doing that, the Hispanics. What about black people, black people, black people? Now you need help. Where are the men? Where's the village? You didn't want the damn village.
I got a question for you and all of the black women. When you gonna start doing something for us, not you? For
Right, that's why.
No. Listen to the question. When are y'all gonna start putting your people first? Your every no, you can't answer because I'm not finished. When are you gonna start saying I am going to carry myself a certain way to increase the ethnic image of my sisters and my brothers and so my mother and father and my community can be proud of producing women like me, and then I will put myself second or third, because the problem is too many black women today put themselves first. That's why you can't never be with nobody long term.
But now you need help. And that men ain't shit because they won't help you after you told them to leave you alone. Sherry Shepherd got canceled. You want to know why? Because Sherry was telling too much of the truth. Telling you to quit dressing like that and all the wild shit that goes on in Hollywood. And people didn't want that. They want to keep the chaos. You always go to the weakest one. That's the woman. And that's how they tear down a community. You already know. Sometimes to me, y'all just stupid and delusional. Kevin Samuels told you. You want to talk about how much men ain't shit? Maury Povich made a whole career on it.
When it comes to 1-year-old Isaiah, Jay, you are not the father.
You are not the father. You heard that motherfucker than you were. Michael Jackson said a kid is not my son. They tricked y'all. Now you know one of the biggest things going around is the weight versus height deal. The hypocrisy of it all. Body positivity is just for women. Because like a nephew gonna point out to you, if you short as a man, we gonna rib you. If you fat as a man, we gonna rib you too. But yeah, the height weight thing can't control your height, but your fat ass show can control your weight. Put them ho-hos and ding-dongs down and throw away the fork. Rotate. Tyler.
The next point is about how feminists will bully men to accept fully figured women, which is just code word for fat. So they'll say things like, Lizzo is beautiful, and if you don't think so, you're sexist.
Yeah, well then tell that woman she looked just like Lizzo then and see how she react to that.
And what's so hypocritical about this is that they're still heightist towards men. So they'll still discriminate men based on height.
Yeah, of course.
And they'll openly mock men who are short. And the problem with this is that it's healthier to lose weight. It's better for your heart.
Right.
It's usually a sign of lack of discipline. So you should encourage people to lose weight. However, being short is just in your genetics. There's nothing you can do about it. And so, if anything, you should shame people who are overweight. But being short should be a protected class. It should be against the cultural rules to mock people who are short.
Man, body positivity is reserved for people with disabilities. Outside of that, ain't no body positivity. I grew up in a time where people used to roast people.
Somehow, in feminism, it's the opposite. Being overweight is the protected class, but being short is like open season. It's just a complete bizarro.
Oh, no, let me correct him real quick. If you're a man, you will be shamed for being short, but you will also be shamed for being fat. All that body positivity stuff is just for women.
And of course, the reason feminists take this position is because it's only women who care about height in men. Men don't really care if women are short. And that's why heightism isn't an issue to women. Shakira is in the 4-foot club. She's like 4'10" or something. Kylie Minogue is also like 4 foot something. I mean, these women are seen as beautiful and hot. And yet you could be really like a tall Victoria's Secret model and be really hot too. So men don't really discriminate women based on height, but women do. And therein lies the hypocrisy.
Yeah, feminism is sports, man. The WNBA think they should be getting broke up. I don't think nobody would miss you if you left. Think about it. What's the name of the team in your city? Or the city closest to you? Outside of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, name a player. Current player. Not Lisa Leslie or someone like that. You don't know. Because nobody want to see that. You're being subsidized by the league, but you want to make as much money as LeBron James. Can't hit a layup. Can't drain the three. Shaquille O'Neal requested that you lower the rim by an inch or two so you can slam. You don't want to do that. Okay, well, you're the author of your own demise. Y'all talk about how uneven everything is. How come female models make more money than male models? Tyler here is going to break down the average guy versus the average woman. As women get older, there's the lack of attention. I always thought you had options, huh? But the way the world is created is the way it's always been, for a reason. Look at the news. It's always some old white guy and some young hot chick. Kevin Samuels told you winter was coming. Winter is now here. It's the cycle of life. This plan been in place for millennia for a reason. Vote yes if you think feminism has gone too damn far. You vote no, then you're a sucker, nigga. You just voted no. Please rotate.
All right, the next point I want to cover is how feminists complain about male athletes being paid more than female athletes, but ignore when female models get paid more than male models.
Yeah.
Both are fair because both are based on capitalism. If people pay to see your gender in that role more, you make more. One overarching...
Well, entertainers are paid based on their entertainment value. There's a reason why Mariah Carey makes more for a show than a guy that's just in his basement making music. It's because she provides more people, more entertainment value, so people are willing to pay it. It's that simple.
Idea that I hear feminists complain about is how they don't get treated with the same respect as men when they get older in looks-based industries like acting. So in this graph I made, it's y-axis looks, x-axis age. I've had this legend up here. The hot woman peaks really early. This is like roughly 21 or something where she's a 10. And then her looks fade at 30, you know, it goes down. The successful man starts off lower, but then as he gets more and more successful at his job, he eventually peaks in his mid to late 30s, and then it goes down. And this is your Don Draper character that I'm talking about here. The James Bond, the competent, suave older gentleman. And I put a line here at age 30 because for a lot of women, 30 is the tipping point when they really want to get married, right? Because they recognize their value is going down and they got to enjoy this ride being single in their 20s. They want to latch on to a successful man so that they can ride this wave up for another decade or two. And
yeah, they want to shoot a buzzer beater, basically. But going back to the actress thing, yeah, that's only relevant if the women are not talented. Like, there are a lot of women who get a huge push in their early 20s because they're pretty and they look good on the cover of a movie. But when it comes to their 30s and your talent actually defines your career, they don't go anywhere because they never really had as much talent. Like, you look at somebody like Viola Davis, she's one of my favorite actresses of all time, and she's just pure talent, in my opinion. Like, at the drop of a hat, she can make herself cry, and her nose going to be running the whole time, but she's talented, so people still pay to watch her.
And in older age, there's just the inevitable decline for both. But this is still higher than where they are. Now, keep in mind, this is only for a successful man.
Yeah, until men get older, until we reach a certain age and start coming into our own, we're invisible. Think of the little 21, 18-year-old kid on the yacht. He there handing out towels and delivering drinks and bringing food. The girl is 18, 21 years old. She ain't on the yacht doing that. She relaxed in her bikini. Old potbelly ass Mr. Johnson up here. This guy got $3 billion in the bank. Surrounded by hotties. Where's Mrs. Johnson? Okay. But he's surrounded by hotties. So the young man, as he looks and say, when my turn come, I'm going to do the same thing. You think he going to hit 40 and then bring a boatload of 40-year-old chicks on there? How come you're being used and you don't know what you're doing when you're dating older guys? Because when I was in high school, chicks was dating older guys. But now they creeps and purrs since you done aged out. Men age gracefully, man. We go from Homer Simpson to Denzel Washington. We age very gracefully. Now you women, I don't know yet. Take off that damn costume. The makeup and liner and shit. You talking about why you so insecure you want me to take it off? You the one insecure, nigga. You scared to look at how you look. The Godfather Kevin Samuels asked you, fresh out the shower, fam. That's you. That's the real you. That other shit you got on is just fake courage. Winter is here. Brrr. Biology versus sociology. Roll tape.
Let's talk about average woman and average man. The average
that's
woman
true.
is still higher than the average man.
Yeah.
She definitely gets treated better in her 20s, but then by 30, it goes downhill. The average man, who's just kind of like a bumbling Homer Simpson, you know, he doesn't really get much of a looks-based bump, and it tracks the average female, but it's always lower. Mm-hmm. Throughout the entire lifetime, an average woman will be treated better on the looks basis than the average man. And this is partially because women culturally wear makeup, so the average woman can be better looking than if she weren't wearing makeup. So in a lot of ways, that accounts for that gap between the average man and the average woman.
Well, it's because they don't know how the average man lives his life and they don't really care. And once they start to see that their privilege is dwindling and they're treated actually more equally than they ever have in their lives, they don't actually like what that equality feels like. Most men are invisible for their entire lives. So if at any point as a woman you feel invisible, you kind of understand a little bit of what the male perspective and what the male existence is actually like for most men. And I'd argue that even the women who start to feel like they're invisible still get significantly more attention than the average man. They just don't get as much attention that they're used to.
Yeah, gender relations and gender wars. It's getting out of hand. Something's got to be done. What, I don't know. Somebody has to bow down. The black man or the black woman. Who's going to bow first? Sure as hell ain't going to be me. Guys, you remember Boys in the Hood? When Lawrence Fishburne told his son, why we don't go to church? Because I'm teaching you to be a man. A man stands on his 2 feet, not down on his damn knees, fam. Somebody got to bow down. And I'm sure most men of my era say it ain't going to be them. I'm with them. See, men make better coaches because we think about the team. Like Poor Man finna break it down. When men get money, they think about helping the family and their friends and expanding their environment. Women get money, they don't need a man. It's just me, me, me. You never think about that job you love so much, somebody else owns that damn job, and when they get ready to sell it, close it, file bankruptcy, die and turn it over to the kids, nigga, you hooked your whole life on another nigga's dream. Yeah, you make $250,000, but that company got bought out. They got rid of y'all. How you gonna find a job to replace it? Your person. Quit getting so damn caught up in all this material shit. So when shit go bad, you got your person. Yeah, women get money and think about themselves. Men think about the team whenever they come into resources. This shit already equal, fam. You just don't like the way it's set up. Flexing because you bought a house and took on damn debt. Show these lames the tape.
But white feminists that represent the hot woman of Hollywood want this line to stay above the male line the whole time so that they get to enjoy the extra privilege they get in their 20s while also enjoying the same privilege that hot, successful men get post 30, which on average is more respect than every male. Again, as with the theme of my previous charts, that's not equality. The existing system is already equal. You just get your respect up front in your 20s, and then these successful men get their respect later after 30. Yet they're not happy with that. They take for granted below 30 and then they complain about above 30. That's not equality. That's female supremacy.
Yeah, it's all equal. Till the check come, or rent, or car notes due. Then you want a traditional man. You want female supremacy, just like old Tyler here is saying, mine. Roll tape.
And the issues with men and women is that it's often a zero-sum game where a woman's gain is a man's loss. So if a woman reaches 75%, then a man goes down to 25%. And where it should be is 50-50, right? Feminism is supposed to be about equality, so it should be 50-50. So my contention is that feminists, at least third and fourth wave feminism, modern feminism, it's a sleight of hand tactic where they point to first and second wave feminism and say, hey, see, we were victims at that time. And they point to the past, but in the present, they are now in the advantageous position. They have more privilege, and the pendulum has swung too far. And they seem to be okay with that because they sort of view it as intergenerational revenge for the past. But that's not really a fair way to look at it. And honestly, it's causing a lot of bigger issues. Gender relations between men and women are at all-time lows in the Western world now.
What when men do better, women do better, children do better, and the country does better because men are more likely to take on the responsibility of providing for a family. Like a man makes $1 million and he goes, great, now I can take care of my family. A woman makes $1 million and she goes, great, now I don't need a family, right? And of course, that's not all cases, but even when women do make a lot of money, they generally want men that make more money than them because even those women don't, generally speaking, want to be the bearer of the responsibility in the relationship.
You want to be in charge. Yeah, zero-sum game. They just want dominance over men. You want to be in charge, it takes you 8 hours to pick out one pair of damn black shoes. How in all the hell are we going to put you in charge? 4th of the 69th Armored Battalion, Mike's Gansenheim, Germany. Find a way or make a way. Speed and power, baby.
The next point is about how feminists will complain about traditionalism and traditional gender roles, yet they want you to pay for dates. And this is a pretty mainstream feminist position. Now, in the past with chivalry, it made sense that men should pay for things because women were not earning money. And so it was just seen as a counterbalancing gesture. And that doesn't hold true today now, where there's all these DEI initiatives that make sure that women are getting paid the same amount as men. With that being the case, why should men continue to pay for meals? Like, you can't be selectively traditional and selectively progressive and pick and choose when it benefits your gender, right?
Well, they can and they are. And we've been following that structure for the past 60, 70 years.
Same concept as all my previous points. By doing that, you are on average pushing for female supremacy.
Yep, all the freedom, but still don't want to do a real man's damn job. You want to vote to send us to war, but you don't want the responsibility of going to fight and die in said war. Now you want to cook and clean when the bombs start dropping and the bullets start flying. What happened to equality? Now you want to get pregnant. Ain't nothing I'm throwing out there. It's been all over the internet. You've seen women do it. Men get the best and the worst of it all. Women just want AC. Comfortable place to kick back and chat and throw office birthday parties. Authority without responsibility. You unappreciative ass.
So my next point is about the common complaint feminists make about lack of females in these executive jobs, the C-suite jobs, the partners at law firms. They often complain about how this should be 50-50, but then they completely ignore the fact that these jobs at the bottom, coal mining, sanitation work, truckers, are disproportionately men. 95% of workplace deaths are by men, and 75% of the homeless are men. And they completely ignore the gender disparities down here. Now, I am superimposing job income distribution chart on top of an IQ chart, so I hope you guys can follow this. But one thing people don't seem to know is that the average IQ scores between men and women have little variation. So the mean IQ between men and women is roughly identical. However, the variability of male IQ scores is greater than the females.
This variability is the reason why most people who commit mass murders are men, but also most people who invent things like iPhones are also men. And feminists are cold because this is how they attack this, right? They blame men for this side while not giving men credit for this side. So they'll go, men are bad because 1% of men commit violent crimes, but they won't go, men are good because 1% of men invent things like the iPhone or modern contraceptives that exclusively benefit women, modern female hygiene products that exclusively benefit women, modern medicine. We don't get credit for this side, but we get blamed for this side at the same time, which is interesting. Right.
Resulting in more males than females in both the top and the bottom parts of the IQ distribution. So the male IQ bell curve is more of a fat-tailed distribution. And since IQ and income are correlated, it would logically follow that men would make up most of the best jobs and most of the worst jobs, while women would mostly do all the jobs in between.
Pretty much all the jobs were air conditioning and pizza party. Essentially just daycares to make sure women don't have families.
Now, when you talk about equality, this is already equal because it's symmetric. It's fair that you have all the jobs in the middle if men get the best and the worst jobs. Yet feminists only focus on the top half and then completely ignore the bottom half. Again, attempting to superimpose the probability density function of the IQ score graph with job income graph onto the same chart. What feminists actually want is for this curve to stay there, but then for this to go like that, wider, and to align with the male curve right here. If you take the mean of that new wider curve, then the average salary of a woman would move over here, while the average salary of a male would stay right there.
Yeah, and it's not even really about salary. It's about positions of power, because there are plenty of guys on that bottom part of the spectrum that make plenty of money, and women could do some of those jobs, but women don't want to do those jobs because it's not even really about money. It's about status and having positions of power. And really, if you expand it further, it's just about having authority without responsibility. So women will campaign for more women to be on this side that has the authority to dictate things like the CEO position, the lawyers, the judges, but they don't campaign for women to be on this side that carries the responsibility of upholding and being willing to die to maintain and build infrastructure. So they want to have the authority to decide what direction we go with the infrastructure, but not have the responsibility of maintaining or dying for that infrastructure. Expand that to something like voting. Like, women want the authority to be able to vote for policies that might send us to war, but they don't want to have the responsibility of going to fight the war. And this might be a little bit tinfoil hatty, society, but I really do think that there's been a concerted effort over the past 70 years to push women into more positions of power because women are easier to control through fear. Men in positions of power are a little bit more incentive based, like you have to give them something for them to do things, but women in positions of power will operate through fear, and people who operate through fear are easier to control.
Things are equal. I'm gonna let him clean up.
All right, so those are the 5 points, and you'll notice the overarching theme across all 5 points is that the existing paradigm is already equal. It's already symmetric.
Yeah.
However, feminists have this myopic view where they only focus on the part of the graph where they feel like they have a disadvantage.
Of course.
And they want that part of the graph to be equal. And that
women campaigning for more privileges for women, I would never have guessed that that would be the case.
Creates this asymmetry where on average they now have privilege over men. And the issues with men and women is that it's often a zero-sum game where a woman's gain is a man's loss. So if a woman reaches 75%, then a man goes down to 25%. And where it should be is 50-50, right? Feminism is supposed to be about equality, so it should be 50-50. So my contention is that feminists, at least third and fourth wave feminism, modern feminism, it's a sleight of hand tactic where they point to first and second wave feminism and say, hey, see, we were victims at that time. And they point to the past, but in the present, they are now in the advantageous position. They have more privilege, and the pendulum has swung too far. And they seem to be okay with that because they sort of view it as an intergenerational revenge for the past. But that's not really a fair way to look at it. And honestly, it's causing a lot of bigger issues. Gender relations between men and women are at all-time lows in the Western world now.
Well, when men do better, women do better, children do better, and the country does better because men are more likely to take on the responsibility of providing for a family. Like a man makes $1 million and he goes, great, now I can take care of my family. A woman makes $1 million and she goes, great, now I don't need a family, right? And of course, that's not all cases, but even when women do make a lot of money, they generally want men that make more money than them because even those women don't, generally speaking, want to be the bearer of the responsibility in the relationship.
Where this brand of third and fourth wave feminism is taking over culture, I would really suggest that we swing back to actual equality. And then maybe that will fix things like the male loneliness crisis. A lot of these societal issues we're seeing are the unintended consequences of toxic third and fourth wave feminism.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what do you think? Some people say from Hoe Math to Hoe Calculus. Yes, this guy has a YouTube channel called Hoe Math. Go check it out. It's hysterical, man. And you know this show, ain't no feminist gonna ever listen to this, let alone try to think critically about it. See, women argue for equality from a position of privilege, man. They don't think about that. How they say, you want the power of the boss, the responsibility of a child, and the perks of a woman. Yeah, only when it suits you. It's always been about superiority with you guys. And you just can't do it. Go watch Bear Grylls on that Survivor Island. Where them chicks was on an island, the guys were on an island. Wake up, mind. This stuff was put in place before you got here for a reason. Never average, never mediocre. Online, on point, and on the freaking money. Pray until something happens. God always provides. At PushGapRadios.com, the power is in the name. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And for everyone who's tuned in and subscribed, we greatly, greatly appreciate you. See you on next week. Put down in the comments, what do you think? You think we'll ever get over the gender wars? Thanks to Oprah Winfrey. PushGapRadios.com. Dallas, baby. And we're out.
PushGapRadio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.